Should you or should you not bury the beater inside the bass drum? This is a topic that many drummers discuss a lot about, and many drummers say it's the worst thing ever to do so, and some others say it's not that big of a deal. And I think there is room for a little discussion there. In my opinion, there are two main areas from which we can talk about this topic. One is sound, and the other one is an optimized use of the body. Let's talk about the use of the body first. And let's simplify it this way. We simply don't have to make an extra effort when it's not required. What does that mean? Well, let's simply put the foot on the pedal and see what happens. As you can see, if I simply rest my foot on the pedal board, my beater is not touching the bass drum head. And if I wanted to do so, I would have to contract my calf, which would result in a non-required effort. Now, if I'm playing a groove like this, I am obviously making a lot of extra effort. But the same thing goes the opposite direction. If I'm having a very loose spring tension, the simple weight of my foot will let the beater touch the drum head, like this. Now, if I wanted to not let the beater touch the drum head this time, I would have to contract the shin muscle, which would result in a non-required extra effort as well. So if we simply look at it from a body usage standpoint, in some cases, we would have to let the beater touch the drum head, and in some other cases, we shouldn't. But let's make a step back and ask ourselves, why should we or shouldn't we let the beater touch the drum head in the first place? If it doesn't create a problem to our body, is there actually going to be a problem somewhere else? This question leads us to the second area of this topic, which, as I previously anticipated, is sound. What happens sound-wise if we let the beater stay on the drum head? Is it going to choke it? Now, many people say, well, you would never hit a tom and rest the stick on the tom, right? So why should you be doing that on the bass drum? I mean, that could be a good point. And in my opinion, if you're looking for a very open kick drum sound like Keith Carlock's, who's just amazing, that's the way to go. You're simply not supposed to let the beater sit on the drum. But I'm sure that a lot of us are not really looking for that much of an open sound. And to be totally honest, if you're having a porthole and a pillow inside the kick drum, you're dramatically changing the sound already in a way that wouldn't be changed that much more if you just let the beater stay on the bass drum head. And if you think about it, we also have examples of amazing drummers who are not only resting the beater on the bass drum head, but also the sticks on, for instance, their snare drum. People like Ilan Rubin, Matt Garska, Aaron Spears, rest in peace, have been seen burying their sticks on the snare drum without sacrificing amazing sounding performances. Now, we could argue that that is not the best use of the body because you are actually making an extra effort to let the stick stay on the snare drum. But sonically speaking, I don't think that these guys and many others can be criticized for this. So, in some scenarios, if the spring tension allows it, it's not necessarily a problem to let the beater stay on the drum head. But that moves the question back to the spring tension. Is there actually no difference between having a loose spring tension or a tight spring tension? Well, a pedal spring is designed to let the beater come back when you release the pedal board. And by having a looser spring tension, it means that you're letting the beater come back a little bit more slow. This will mean that anytime we'll try to get multiple ankle strokes, such as double strokes, our body will have to compensate the effort that the spring is not providing it, which, again, results in a non-required effort. So in my opinion, having a medium to medium tight spring tension is actually the best option. But I also want to say this. Contracting the calf and therefore getting the beater closer to the drum head is something that we kind of naturally do whenever we have to prepare our leg to get the motion for a kick hit. It just gives us control over the bass drum pedal. Now, if we're playing a groove at a fairly slow tempo with the bass drum on 1 and 3, we have all the time to let the beater go and then reload that stroke for the next hit. But sometimes we have to play multiple groupings that are fairly close to each other. And letting the beater go, in my opinion, might let you lose control. So in that case, I think it's allowed to have a constant contact with the drum head, like in this scenario. All right, people, I hope this helps a little bit with this topic that is hugely discussed. And if you feel like there is a little bit more to say, please let me know that in the comments. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.